everyone, welcome to the Rage Traders YouTube video for NRL Supercoach, and today we are discussing 10 pods that could absolutely help you in rising the ranks. Now, if you don't know what a pod is, it's a player that you pick with a point of differential or point of difference, and essentially what that means is you're picking a player with quite a low ownership that you think will still get a very good amount of points, so then you are kind of gapping the norm of what you are playing in. So for example, let's just say everyone has Nathan Cleary and Hines, but I pick Adam Reynolds. This could be a pod for you where he gets 80 points or 90 points and they're sort of not meeting the criteria and his price is better. So you're gaining money, gaining points, and then sort of catching up in that way. Now, maybe that is not the best example, but it is my number one pod in terms of how we're starting. This goes in no order whatsoever. Just I'm starting with Adam Reynolds. He's priced at $500,700. He's already got 2 games in the pocket and the draw is very, very nice for him. He is currently averaging 87 points. He has 5% ownership at the moment, which is great. So he does meet the criterion. For this pod video, we are doing 5% and under, not 10% and under, 5% and under. So I really did some research into this, and I didn't want to go into 1/10. We're going into 5% only. So the draw for the Broncos, which is I wanted to share because the next player is also the Broncos as well, goes into the Cowboys, Dolphins, Tigers, Roosters, Warriors, then Bulldogs and Penrith. So round 8 and 9, a bit tougher, and you expect Burton to be back then and kick out. So that's where you could look at making maybe a move. But geez, the next 4 or 5 is very friendly for Brisbane Broncos just in terms of points. His points were 105 in the first round and 69 in the second round. Obviously an 80-minute player. His base is very, very low, sitting at 19 in the first one and then 15 in his second match. But his break even at the moment is -15. So you are making money. And if this game with the Cowboys is, 30-24 or 30-20, he's going to be making points. He's the goal kicker. This is a very nice pod play that you could make. And his PPM is at 1.09, so nothing bad about that. So that's my first pod, Adam Reynolds from the Brisbane Broncos. Second, I'm going to go into another Broncos player, Jordan Ricky. He's at the 2RF. Break even of 14, averaging 68 points. His price is $471,700. PPM at 0.84, and we know the draw that the Broncos do possess. Now, if you did want to go for the risk is now, but I think a lot of people are going to go the Haas way today, getting that sort of price rise that's guaranteed. The break evens are nicer, and he is obviously just a better player, but he is FRF. And at the moment, FRF is very friendly to us. We've got the May, we've got Horsburgh, you've got Gourna if you have Gourna, then you've got Stewart. So the 2RF seems to be a bit of a problem with the Hopgood and just maybe things lacking there more than the FRF. So Ricky could be a nice play for you at the moment. He does have 4% ownership at the time of this video, so that's not bad at all. Meets the criteria. 6,773 selections for him, so we could be something that just earns you a bit of cash. Again, he's coming into his 3rd game now, so the next game is the one that's going to generate the cash for him, and so on and so forth. But Jordan Ricky is our second pod for the day. Let's go to the third. This one, with the pods, I'm trying to generate you value as well, but I had to mention this guy because we all know his capability. I'm not going to be getting him now. He's just someone you need to look out for next week. Now, if you have Turbo and you're holding him and things go to disaster, or if you're just making cash and prepping up for next week for another boost or a boost, we have to talk about this guy because he is a master at work, James Tedesco. Now, you might laugh and go, why are you bringing up a $920,000 player? Well, at the moment, Tedesco is at quite a low ownership, and that's why I have to bring him up. I think for memory, he's 3%. We're just going to check it up now. And currently, he's sitting at 3%, so 4,604 selections. His round 2 score was absolutely massive against Panthers, 119. His total score, 162. But let's just speak about what he can do first. Now, first of all, we've got an issue with Turbo. We're going to see and get the final clarification confirmation on that on the last game this round. But I'm highly considering going to Desco next week because of the price drop that he will likely get. Now, who are they versing this week? They're versing the Warriors. So we're expecting some points there, right? At the moment, he sits with a 129 break even. I don't expect him to get that. But if he does get 100, look, God forbid he gets 140, 150 this game. But I'm expecting a lesser score. Now, that's when he's just going to chip away at that break even. Hopefully he can get to around 80, 90, something like that, 70, whatever it may be. And that's when I want to possibly grab him. So I get the price drop because I don't think he's at 920. It's very hard to get. But listen to this. They go into the Warriors. They go into the Gold Coast Titans. They go into Souths. They go into Broncos, Panthers, St. George Dolphins, and the bye. This could be the time that you grab him. Let him go before the bye and possibly before Origin, because we don't know. Edwards could be injured. We don't know what could happen there. Or he could just be playing better. That's simple. He could come back. Then in the round 11, they have Bulldogs, Sharks, and Canberra. And Canberra, I think, are just a better team this year, so we don't know. Then they have another bye. So really what you're doing here is Tedesco from round 4 to round 9 could be an absolutely amazing play, especially if this Roosters team have now gained momentum after the Panthers game. I'm strongly looking at him. Now, I know we have Gutho, who's going to be a guaranteed huge price grab, but with the Dragons, are we overstepping on that? Are we going to just be seeing a Gutho that gets 40 points, 50 points from the draw, and it was just very draw friendly for him? Or am I just wrong and Gutho is a play? So that's something you can look for next week. But boy, is Tedesco someone that you could definitely play at next week. So that is something I just did want to mention. Pod number 4. I have to mention this guy. Boy, do I have a lot of Broncos players. I think this is the last one. But Dean Mariner. Now, we have to be careful here because Tony Staggs, anything could change this week, but I have to speak about this guy because Dean Mariner is just someone who can accumulate a lot of points out of nowhere. 95 points in the second game against Canberra in a game that they got smoked, but then against the Roosters only got 56, okay? So he has a PPM of 0.94. He's 530,000. He's been playing 80 minutes. He's averaging 76 points, so there is upside there, and he could go absolutely massive against the Cowboys. Now, at the moment for Mariner, again, it is lineup dependent, so you have to be very careful with this one because of the Stags play. But at the moment, his break even is 17, which is nice. And he's selected only in 2% of teams, 3,609 selections. So Dean Mariner could be a player. I'm not as strong on this one because of just things that are happening with Brisbane. They got smoked in the second round. So just be careful of that one. But yeah, Dean Mariner is a nice thing that we just want to keep a watch list on because he's a great player and he does score a lot for the Broncos. Next, I have someone, not unfortunately, but I just have to mention this guy because he missed out on round 1, had a blinder in round 2. We know his capability. Could this be a little smoky pick? And it's Curran, Joshua Curran. Now, the injuries, I want to see what happens there because of the injuries with Burton and Kikau. If you go for Curran this week and you strike gold, you are laughing because they go in versus the Parramatta Eels, who are in disarray here. At the moment, let's just go through his stats quickly. So his PPM for the last game, I think he did score, so just be wary of that. But 78 points, 1.95 PPM, break even of 31, 78 points in the last game, if I didn't mention that, sorry, in 40 minutes. 40. Like what? Base of 37. I would say monitor this, but if he gets a bit more minutes, boy, oh boy, could you find some gold here. At the moment, we'll just put this in quickly because I have to go this between two sites. 546,000 is his price, but we know the capability of this guy. 2% owned, 2,984 selections. So keep your tabs on Curran, put him on your watch list, see what they do against Para, his minutes, and then they've got Sharks, Newcastle, by South Broncos, Gold Coast. Next one I want to talk about, someone who should definitely be on your watch list. Now, he could be a bit of a trap, so this is why he's on your watch list, but that's Matty Nicholson from the Raiders, especially with the Hosking injury now. We just want to see what minutes he gets, what he's going to be doing there, but did he have a blinder running some very, very hard lines in that game against Brisbane, who are not the easiest, like they have some big dudes there. Negative 26 break even for this guy. Holy, he's someone in my boost next week that I'm definitely going to be looking at playing, because I am looking at moving on Hetherington next week, unless he just has an absolute blinder and gets like 90 points against the Cowboys, which I highly doubt. But Nicholson gets 98 points in 66 minutes. 34 base, insane. PPM of 1.48. Now, they have Manly this week. If DCE and Turbo don't play, that just makes it even better. Then they go into the Cowboys, Sharks, Parramatta, Gold Coast, New Zealand, Sydney, South, then bye in round 15. So Raiders have a really nice stretch of games, and they do have Melbourne being the toughest, but really other than that, nothing really too crazy. Maybe the Bulldogs, but they've been letting in some points. So he's someone you can look at the moment. He's, if I didn't mention this, sorry if I didn't, selection's only 941, so 1%. I think a lot of people are playing the waiting game for him, but I think this is a very, very good sort of play that you could make or just look into. He's a big pod, I think, but the problem is he's a pod now, but if he does have a blinder in the game against the Eagles, he's not going to be a pod. So this is why maybe he could be your play now. It's kind of like Timmy Williams and some people getting Tamale early, and a lot of people were scared of Tamale because of the Hopper Whitey situation. So they kind of got a step ahead. This could be your player where you get a step ahead. Next, I've actually got Sebastian Kris. Now, I think Sebastian Kris is a nice play just because, one, Savage got suspended, so now he's a game behind. But also, two, I feel like even though we know he's been playing well, he, for the Raiders, kind of gets outshone a bit. So it's like you speak about Jamal, and then you speak about Savage having a blinder game, which he did. But this guy just plugs in, gets his points. He's been very, very aggressive. He's just absolutely doing amazing for the start of the season. Negative 18 break even, averaging 74 points, 80 minutes, 0.92 PPM at $405,800. And he's got the Raiders draw, which isn't too bad, so no buys coming our way. $405,800 is very cheap. So if you're not happy with Skelton, or you're not happy with Ali Leotawa, or you're not happy with, your Lomaxes, your Holmes, and you just expected a bit more from them, this could be a nice play, a very nice play for you where you're like, okay, not a lot of people are picking him. Where can I go to be a bit different in a team that's actually doing well? And Kris could be that play. Now, do I think Savage is better? Yes, but he's also a game behind. At the moment, Kris is sitting at 2% ownership, 2,831 picks. Again, break even of negative 19. So look at that. Next one I have is Sam Stone Street. 509,000 flat, sorry. 2 games in the pocket. The base is a bit low, but we know what team he's playing for. He's playing for the Cronulla Sharks. Now, the Cronulla Sharks have Souths. This could be a massive game for Cronulla. Now, I did get word today that apparently some of them have COVID or something like that. A lot of them are a bit ill. I don't know how true that is. Apparently they got it on the plane or Townsville. So don't quote me on this, but this is what I've heard from someone. But they do have Souths this week, and they do generally score a very high and large amount against South. So in his second game, he went 112 points. The base was 32, but geez, if he can output something like this, even a 90 plus, you are going to be making some cash. You possibly just move him on after that, but they go into the Bulldogs, who are injured, Canberra, Manly, Newcastle, West Tigers, Parramatta. Then they go into Manly and Melbourne, into Roosters, which gets a bit harder, then a bye in round 13. So this is a play some people could make. A lot of people were as soon as the injury came up with, I think it was Katoa, they were like, I'm just going to get Stone Street in and go for this play. He had a bit of an average round 1, but that was in Vegas against the Panthers, so you kind of have to respect that. His break even, if I didn't mention, is 9, and he is at 4% selections. 5,825 were the selection numbers. So if you want to go for it, go for it. I don't think you're going to lose out on this pick too much, and you can just ship him down or ship him up, make cash, go to a primo, do something with it. But that is one pick for you. Next, I'm going to talk about Marcelo Montoya. This guy's actually been very, very impressive for the Bulldogs. So they do have Parramatta next. He's got 2 games in, so he's coming into his price change. His first points were 57. His second was 76, so he's averaging 67 points at 408,600. That is something you like to see. PPM 0.83. Will the Bulldogs have as good output now that Burton and Kikau are gone? I don't know. That's something that's a bit scary, and that's why I'm a bit hesitant on this one. So just pay attention to that. But he's had a great start to the season. I think he's a great grab if you got him. -4 break even. And the selections are at 2%, 3,381. So look into Montoya. I just think he's I don't think you're going to, again, there's not a lot of risk in this one. Not a lot of risk and a money grab. But I think a lot of people are going to say is, if I go to Montoya, why wouldn't I just go down to Tamale and then get a bigger price grab? And he's in a better team with no injuries, really. So that makes sense. But yeah, someone who I just wanted to share out with you. Last but not least, a little pod here that you need to look at. Now, maybe he's a pod that will grow, but Grant Anderson, holy moly, this guy could do something. You keep your tabs on this guy. There's no data off him, but he still is someone you could just be like, you know what? I believe in him. I'm going to go for him. Out of all the ones, you don't have data here. So his break even is 47. So you just want to be careful of that. But I think he's a watch list kind of pod. And at the moment, his selections are at 1%. 850 people have him. So people are going for it. The problem is they have the Panthers tonight, but then they go into St. George, and then Manly will be his price change, obviously, if he plays those 3 games, into Warriors, Dolphins, South, Canberra's, West Tigers. Warriors, Dolphins, South, Canberra, West Tigers. So there's a lot of Storm players there you can be looking at in that sort of round 5 to round 10 mark, where Storm players can earn you a lot of points. So just look into that. Keep it on your tabs. Now, one thing I did want to do, I'll see if I can bring this up for you guys. I don't think I can, but I'm just going to tell you the trades that I'm doing this week. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I'm currently sitting at 4,755 rank. My score last week, 1442. And with the drama this week, I am deciding to trade out Turbo. It frees up a lot of cash for me. So after these trades, I have 497,200 in my salary, and that is leaving me open to possibly go to a Tedesco. Now, how do I do that? Now, at the moment, I've been blessed because I chose Tuapiki as my pod, and because of this Turbo drama, I'm then able to get Tamale in and put Tuapiki in my fullback slot, which is really, really nice. What I'm looking at doing next week, and this depends on a bit of Tuapiki game as well. At the moment, Tuapiki has a 26 break even. I expect him to clear that. You just don't know. He might have a shocker. If he does, I'm going to trade out Tuapiki. I'm going to get the 459,000 or whatever it may be around there. Add that in with my 497,000. I can go straight to Tedesco. I can go Gutho and make some cash. I can go Pap and make some cash. So I'm in a really nice position. Now, my trades at the moment, I'll read them out to you, is I went Hopgood to Haas, bringing down Horsburgh, putting up Haas. Then I went Seyfarth to Watson, and then I went Trebojevic to Tamale. Now, I obviously started with Trebojevic to Tamale to get the cash to be able to do those other two. But yeah, that is my trades for the week. I really like Watson. I just feel like I want to have a solid backup to hooker if P. Mam and Sandon Smith goes AWOL, or if Hines goes AWOL, Cleary goes AWOL. So just like a lot of people are doing with the Duffy play, I want to have a backup there. So I've kind of got like a double backup plan, whereas if Hines or Cleary, something goes wrong there, Sandon Smith comes down, Connor Watson goes up into hooker, and then I'm getting another 2RF, which will get me some good points, like a Nicholson. So this is all how I think. I'm thinking 2-3 weeks ahead. If nothing goes wrong, I'm literally just going to be looking at going to Desco or the Gutho, or possibly doing a double fullback play. So I'm gonna, if I can go into 3-gun fullbacks in this play, going a Gutho and a Tedesco with Ponga, that's something I'm looking at. But anyway, please like and subscribe, guys, if you want to see more content. I hope this has helped you out. 20-minute video. Again, comment what you're thinking, or if you have any questions about what you are thinking of doing, if you want some advice. Again, I'm not coming first. This is my second season in Supercoach, but I'm very happy with my rank and where I've started. So yeah, happy to help out if you want some help. And yeah, good luck in the round. Good luck to all the teams and the team that you follows. Thank you again for supporting, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Wolf. This is the Rage Traders. Peace.